What's going on, guys? Matt with MotoWorks here. And in the video today, we're just going to be going over the H2. I got to make sure that it's ready to go drag racing for the upcoming race this weekend. And I'm going to explain to you what I've done to the bike so far to, kind of learning experience from this past season on my old bike. First and foremost, what do you guys think this thing's going to run in the quarter mile? With the bags on, now mind you. And then what do you think it'll run without the bags on? I'd be curious to see what you guys think in the comments below. So I got the bike ready. Now I have a 3-part series on actually servicing the bike, and that's pretty much a good guideline to make sure your bike's at least safe, ready to ride. Now this isn't me going over any drag racing specific rules that you need to follow, but for the most part, since I don't do any type of racing and I'm just going for a test and tune, you should be okay just doing these little things that I've done to my bike to make sure it's ready to go. All right, so here she is, the beautiful H2 here. So when you're looking your bike over, you want to make sure it's in tip-top shape. So I believe I'm going to have to adjust the chain again. I've been riding this thing quite a bit and the chain has loosened up on me. So making sure your chain is at the proper tension and making sure that it's properly lubricated and there's no kinks in your chain here. That's kind of a big thing here because you do not want to lose a chain on the starting line. That could damage your engine cases because that chain could come whipping around here and actually destroy a bunch of this stuff in here. And you're pretty much stuck and don't have a way to get home. So making sure that your chain is properly maintained, properly serviced is a good first step. You know, it's kind of easy to do on most motorcycles. Moving around, we're going to check the fluids, both the coolant, which right in the middle there between the upper and lower, so that coolant is in a good spot. Happy with that. And then moving on from the coolant, we're going to check the oil level, which I like to, when I'm drag racing or doing high speed runs, I like to keep my oil a little bit fuller. You know, some people might say that robs horsepower, but for me, I like to have a little bit more oil in the engine, and that's just added safety, making sure that everything is getting oiled that should. Because remember, you're going to be revving this engine out to its maximum RPM to try and get the best time going down the quarter mile. So making sure that oil is full and a little bit more isn't a bad idea. Then moving up from there, you just want to make sure all your controls are working. Like you have good brake pressure. You know, if you have a hydraulic clutch, making sure that hydraulic fluid's nice and clear. And again, we did all that. You know, I've already bled the brakes on this, and I bled the clutch as well because I went back to the stock handlebars. But just making sure that stuff works smoothly and that fluid is in good condition. Because again, in addition to revving these engines to their maximum ability, you're also going to have to stop this thing pretty quickly. And you're going to want to make sure that your clutch is releasing like it should be. So make sure all those components are in good working and tip-top condition. Also want to come down and check our brakes. I don't know if you're going to be able to check in there, but just check the brake pad condition itself. Make sure that there's plenty of pad life both on the front as well as the rear. And again, I've already gone over that. I know that these are good. The rear brake pads on this are going to need replaced soon, but I do have a new set, but they're going to be perfectly fine for drag racing. While we're down here, we also want to check the tire, both the tire pressure as well as these tire condition. Now the quickest way to check your tire's condition is to come down here and this mark here, there's a mark called the TWI mark, which is the tread wear indicator. And anywhere you see that TWI designation, if you look across your tire, there's going to be raised portions of rubber inside your tread. And as long as it's inside your tread and not flush with, your tire should be good as far as tread depth is concerned. The other thing you want to check for is any kind of dry rotting. Make sure that your tire's not all cracked up and You know, no splits are in the tires, nothing like that. Which, again, I already checked these. I know that the tires are good, both the front as well as the rear tire is in good condition. So all that stuff looked good when I went over the service. And then you just want to go around and wiggle stuff. You know, like wiggling the exhaust, wiggling the bags, wiggle, I call it, you know, have a good wiggle test on your bike. Make sure that nothing's going to fall off, right? It's also helpful if you have the tools to go around and just start checking all your fasteners. Make sure that all your fasteners are snug. Which, again, I know that these are snug, but it always helps to just get that Allen wrench out. Now, you don't have to go super tight on this stuff, but just tight enough to make sure that that stuff's secure. That's kind of the basics there to make sure that this thing's ready. Also, check for leaks anywhere. Now that I'm thinking about it, you know, make sure your fork seals aren't leaking fluid everywhere, because there is probably about half a quart of oil per leg in most modern sport bikes. And if they start to leak, they can get right onto the brake pads, and that can severely impact your stopping distance. You know, it'll definitely lengthen it. So just make sure you check for any types of leaks, and, you know, also oil leaks, things like that, coolant leaks. You also just want to just make sure that there's no puddles under your bike, or there's no oil spraying out anywhere on your bike as well. So, and you should, I mean, if it's leaking bad enough, they're not going to let you run anyway. So just look for any types of leaks when you're going around the bike as well. Now, if all that stuff sounds foreign to you and you don't really feel like doing that, then just take it to a garage or a mechanic that you trust and just have them look it over and make sure that everything is in good working condition. You know what I mean? It's not something that you have to necessarily do. You just want to make sure that the bike's as safe as it can be and as serviced and ready as it can be, because there's nothing worse than going to the track and not even getting a pass in because A, you don't pass tech inspection, or B, you lose a chain on the starting line, or you know, something catastrophic like that. You know, you kind of want to catch those little things before they happen. You know, that way when you get to the track, it's just going there to have some fun. Take a look at that. So I've already lowered this bike and already installed the strap kit for the front end, as you can see here in these pictures. The only thing is I took all that stuff off. That stuff I'm going to install when I get to the racetrack. Now here are the things, like I said, I took the strap kit off. And I have all the hardware for it in the baggie here with the zip ties. Yes, you can ride around with the strap kit on. You just leave it loosely on there and then secure up the loose strap with your zip ties that they include in the kit. Yes, you can 100% do that, and I know a lot of people that do. For me, it's just, I don't like to do that. That's my personal preference against it, and I have saddlebags, so I can just toss all that stuff in the saddlebag, and it literally takes no time to throw this on at the track, ratchet it down tight, and then the strap kit is installed. I did the same thing with the lowering links. Yes, I know these are the Brock's window lowering links, and they are adjustable, so technically I could just put these on, set it to stock ride height, get to the track, loosen everything up, and drop it down to my preferred racing height. But I really don't want to do that because there's specific measurements that you have to meet. You know, Brock's is very specific in saying that he wants these links to be the same or very close to the same length. So I already set the desired height, the desired ride height with these, locked them in. They're both within the specification that Brock's includes with this kit directions. So all I have to do is go to the track, take off my stock lowering link, or my stock link I should say, that's in there, and then just install these links, and then when I want to leave the track, I'll just swap them back out and it'll be at stock height and I don't have to mess with the adjusters on here. Now, yes, I know I could have gone a cheaper route, just gone on eBay and gotten lowering links, but we're a Brock's dealer at work and I get a pretty decent deal on these, so I just went with these because the adjustability, you know, I didn't know exactly what height I wanted to be at, and the fact that I can fine-tune these was a nice feature. So that's lowering handled. Now, as far as weight savings and kind of wind reduction for when I do take the saddlebags off, I got these when I bought the bike. The previous owner had actually purchased these for the bike, and I'm grateful he did because these are not a cheap item. These are the Brock's mirror block-off plates, and they are a beautiful carbon fiber. So those will go in place of these pretty bulky mirrors here. And I'll probably install these at the racetrack, take them off at the racetrack, because my turn signal obviously is integrated into the mirror. So when I actually go all out and I try and get the quickest pass I can get where the bags are off, and I'm going to take the mirrors off, and I might even take the center stand off, you know, make this as light as it possibly can be to see if I can go as quick, just to see how quick I can get the bike to go. Alright, so if you've been following my channel for any length of time, you already know that I had a ZX14 before I had the H2 here. And I learned quite a few things on that bike last season, and I applied a lot of those teachable moments to the H2. And one of those things is just leave it alone and see what you can do. When I got the ZX14, it had a flash DCU and it already had a full Two Brothers racing exhaust on it. And then I went and I changed everything. I added a power commander, quick shifter, 2 different exhausts. I went with a Yoshimura first and then ended up on getting a Brock's. I went with a Sprint basic air filter, and then I upgraded to the F185, the super duper high performance air filter. You name it. I did just a ton of stuff on that bike and kind of got an idea as far as what to do on this bike. And what I decided to do is just keep it very basic. Now, in addition to lowering it, which on the ZX14 I should have done that from the get-go, but stubborn me wanted to hit that 9-second quarter-mile pass with the bike at stock ride height, stock wheelbase. You know, I just wanted to do it. I did successfully get it to finally run a 9-second quarter-mile, but then everything changed when I lowered it, and I had to pretty much learn it all over again. But I'm eliminating that on the H2 right off the bat, because first of all, I'm lowering it right when I get to the track. It's getting dropped. I did go down 2 teeth on the rear sprocket. I found that really helps as far as controlling the front wheel wanting to come off the ground, and it also allows me to be in a lower gear when I actually go across the finish line. I expect to be in the top of 4th gear on this, and I think with the gearing it should probably do, I'm thinking in the mid 150s, possibly the high 150s in the quarter mile, just because I'm able to stretch out 4th gear that little bit more, you know, just a little bit more. I see a lot of guys on these bikes so far. I've watched a couple of videos and I see that they're getting about 150s at the quarter mile. It's high 140s, 151 I think was one of the fastest passes I saw. There are also other H2 SXs I've seen that have hit almost 160 in a quarter mile. Now again, on some of those I didn't really get any context with it. I didn't know what they did to the bike, but I assume the first thing they did is they actually lowered that gearing down, because it was a tremendous help on my ZX14. Again, going back to that bike, when I dropped 2 teeth on the rear, I think it went from going 148 in a quarter mile all the way up to 152. And it's just because you can stretch out that gear just a little bit more right there at the end, right there where you need it. So That was the first thing I did right off the bat. And I keep seeing people say that you can actually go to a 41. This has a 44 tooth rear sprocket. And I've seen people go down to a 41 and actually go up a size on the front sprocket and actually gear it even taller. But I think I'm going to be pretty happy with just going down 2 teeth, but we'll have to see. Now, the list of things that were done to this, which is what I told you I was going to tell you in the first place. This has a ZX10 head pipe, and I believe it has a ZX10 mid pipe and exhaust. This is a Moriwaki exhaust on this thing, and that was what the previous owner installed. Now, in addition to that, he also did put the race filter in, so it does have the P08 F185 filter, so the freest flowing air filter on this, and it has a reflash through V-Cycle Nut is who did the reflash on this. Now, I called them up, told them the list of modifications, and they claim that it should have somewhere in the neighborhood of 230 to 240 horsepower to the rear tire. Now, this bike weighs less than the ZX14. It shares the same wheelbase as the ZX14. So, just going to make a prediction right now. I think lowered, front and back, without the bags on it, I should probably be able to match or beat my ZX14's best time, which was, for me, a 941 at 152. I think I can best that because just based on the power figure, power to weight, you know, thinking power to weight ratio alone, I should be able to beat that. Now, whether or not I do, that's to remain to be seen, I guess. But yeah, so my prediction is with the bags on, I think it's going to be somewhere in the high 9s if I can get it to come out of the hole. And with the bags off, mirror block offs installed, I think I can get it down into the low 9s. I don't think it'll go 8s. I don't think it quite has that, but you never know. We'll see what happens on that. You know, first pass kind of is really telling. We'll see how timid I am and you know, how the power comes in on this bike. Now, on the street, it's very aggressive. The power comes in very aggressively, so I think that's what I'm going to be fighting, is a little bit of that fear off the line. And it was the same with the ZX14, but I think more so with this, just because I know it has a supercharger. I know that the more you rev it, the more power it makes. You know, as you rev this thing up, it just makes more boost. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I think it should do pretty good. I'm very excited and looking forward to this. This should be a blast. So that's the bike. Kind of an overview. I'm sure I missed some things. If you guys have any questions on it, feel free to leave comments below. If you see I didn't touch on stuff enough, let me know in the comments. But yeah, next video with this bike is going to be us going down the drag strip, guys, and I cannot wait to take you there. I cannot wait to get. I've been so excited ever since I got this thing. That's kind of been the first thing I've wanted to do, is just take this to the drag strip, just to see if I can beat these other times I've seen. I mean, I'm seeing 10s all across the board. I hear about people running 9s on them, but I haven't actually seen a video, so you know, maybe my video will be the first one in the 9s that I've seen or I've made, but who knows. If you guys know of a video of one of these running 9s, I'd love to see it. But until the drag strip day, guys, I'm just going to be as excited as possible. So thank you so much for checking out the video. If you liked the video, as always, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more stuff like this, just leave any comment below saying you want more H2 content. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. We'll see you in the next one.